With the help of CSS, we can change the font family, size, weight, line height, background and foreground color, spacing, and alignment of the text. Let's have a look at these properties one by one. One of the most important choices you'll make for yours or the client's website is the font for body and headlines. Let's begin by learning how to define a single font family. Let's open up our editor and suppose we want to set the font family for the heading of our page. So inside our CSS file, we'll write the H1 selector first, then the opening curly brace and the closing curly brace, and inside the curly braces, we'll type font dash family colon, and let's say we want to set the heading font to Arial. We'll type Arial and at the end semicolon. But before saving changes to the CSS file, I want to take a moment and ponder on the fact that I haven't set any value for the headings or the paragraph text. Then how is the browser displaying them in a certain color, height, weight, and in a certain font family? The answer to this question is the default browser styling. The default browser styling refers to the phenomena that when none of the CSS properties are set for a particular element, the browser has its own CSS file that contains the styling of every property for every element on the page. And that is what we are seeing right now. To find out what is the default browser styling, we can hit F12 on either Chrome or Firefox and find out what the default styling is. Let's go ahead and do that. Firefox first. Depending upon the version you're using, you will see something similar to this. And to its right, you'll see a tab named Fonts. And inside this tab, we can see that our default system font is Times New Roman. Let's do the same inside Chrome. Press F12 and you'll see the Chrome Web Inspector. Then at the left, click on this magnifying glass, and after selecting it, click on the heading 1 text. Then click at the Computed tab, and at the very bottom of this, you'll see that the default rendered font is again Times New Roman. Apologies to the Mac users who are using Safari, but hope you guys appreciate that there's a default CSS file for every browser. Let's go back to our CSS file, save it, and reload our page in the browser. Save it and reload our page in the browser. And we can see that the font for our heading has been changed from Times New Roman to Arial. In the exact same fashion, the remaining CSS properties can be applied to the text using the property value pairs. Let's do them quickly and one by one. Font size. Let's change the font size from the default to something reasonably big. Say 50 pixels. Save it. Load it into the browser. And we can see that our font has been increased from its default value of around 36 to something bigger like 50 pixels. And now let's mention all the remaining properties first and then set their values one by one. Font weight. These are the default values for the font weight, and usually the values used are bold, bolder, inherit, lighter, and normal. To see the effect of font weight clearly, we first set its value to lighter, save it, reload into the browser, go back to our editor, change the value from lighter to bolder, save it, reload into the browser, and we can clearly see that there's a remarkable difference between bolder and lighter property of the font weight. Let's change the background color from the default white to say green. Save it and reload into the browser. Now we can see that the background color of our heading has been changed. It's important to note that when we change the background of heading, it changes the color of the entire width of the heading 1, not just the text of heading 1. And the reason of this change would be clear in a couple of movies. Let's change the foreground color of the text. The foreground color of the text means the color of text itself. Right now the foreground color is the black, which is its default value. Let's go back to our editor and change the color of text from green to say white. Save it, reload into the browser, and we can see that the color of text has been changed from black to white. The last property to be done is text can be aligned to the left of the page, at the center, and to the right of the page. So let's try all these three properties. Text align, left, semicolon, save, reload into the browser. Text has been aligned to the left. Go back to our editor, text align, right, save, reload, and we can see the text has been aligned to the right. To bring the text to center, we can set the text align value to center, save, reload, and we can see that the text is now center aligned. So these are the few properties of text that CSS provides us to control the appearance and formatting of the text. And as can be seen, they are quite easy to implement and really powerful and give us remarkable control over the appearance of our text. Thanks for watching.